In today's video, we're going to learn how to make a female shirt with a cowl sleeve and a deep cut armhole. If that is what you want to learn how to make for yourself, then keep watching this video till the very end. Do not forget to subscribe, click the bell notification icon. Let's head straight to it. These are the fabrics that I used. The blue one is cotton, it's 1 yard. Then the flowered one is crepe, I think it's about 1.5 yard. So firstly, we are going to be drafting these basic bodice fronts. Like I said, this tutorial is beginner friendly. We're starting from the scratch. So on a fresh pattern paper like so, you want to mark a line. This line is just a guideline. There's no measurement for it. On that line, you're going to be imputing half of your shoulder measurement. Half of your shoulder measurement. Mine is 7.5. I marked it. Then you go so and mark 2.5 inches from the center front like so. On that 7.5, you're coming down by 1.5 inches, which is going to serve as your shoulder slope. You go ahead to connect the 2.5 inches to the 1.5 shoulder slope line, like so, and then you have your shoulder slope. Now for the armhole, starting from this point, I'm going to be imputing my armhole measurement. Mine is 7 inches. I'll go ahead and mark it out now. Then from this very point of the front, this point is actually 8.5 inches and we are going to confirm it later. I marked 7.5 inches, which is the same thing as the length of my half shoulder. I'm going to be connecting that point to this point, the half shoulder to that very point of lower 7.5 inches. Now we got 8.5 inches if you take the measurements all the way down. So I'm taking it all the way down. The 8.5 inches, I'm marking it all the way down like so. So we can form a very straight line. I'll use my long ruler to connect those dotted lines together. So now we've formed our chest line. All right, this is our chest line. Now the midpoint of my shoulder slope, from there I'm going to be taking my vertical measurement. That is shoulder to bust point. Mine is 10 inches. Shoulder to waist, mine is 16 inches. And of course, shoulder to the hem of the shirt. So having done that, the next thing we are going to do now is I am trying to make sure that the line is straight. So from the very first vertical measurement we took, I am starting from there to remark, okay? If you're watching closely, you understand what I'm doing. I'm starting from there to remark so that we can get a straight line. So we can get a very accurate straight line. That is what I'm doing right now. And after imputing the dotted marks that I made, I had to use my ruler to mark on top of those dotted lines so we can get straight lines. Then we are going to impute our round measurement. For me, my bust measurement divided by 4 is 8.7 inches. I added half an inch because this blouse is going to be free. Now for the waist measurement, we did not impute our that, but I'm going to be adding that 1 inch, that measurement, to my waist measurement, which is going to give me 8 inches, and I added half an inch, which is 8.5 inches. For the hip measurement, I'm going to be adding half an inch to my hip measurement, which is going to give me 10 inches. So I added half an inch, and I still added the 1 inch for the waist measurement because it is going to be a free shirt. We're going ahead now to connect all those points together. So this is what your pattern should look like at this point. The next thing I'm going to do now is to determine how the deep cut armhole is going to be. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm starting from the midpoint of my shoulder. And from the midpoint of my shoulder, I am going to be coming down like so. Coming down by 8.5 inches. I'm going to be marking from the center front all the way to meet this 7.5 inch mark, which I'm bringing down. And from there, I'm going to be taking it 1.5 inches away from that point. So now we're going to be recreating our new armhole. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do want to subscribe. Click the bell notification icon so you'll be notified whenever I post lovely tutorials like this. Thank you. So this is our new armhole for the front. And this is what the front pattern looks like right now. So the depth of our neckline is 3 inches for me. If you're on a bigger side, the depth of a neckline should be highest 3.5 inches, no matter how big you are, 3.5 inches. So this is now what our pattern looks like. I want to give the hem of my shirt that C cut at the side seam. So I went up by 2 inches by the side seam. I'll go ahead to connect it to the center front like so. And I'm going ahead now to cut out my pattern. And this is what our front pattern looks like. Heading over to the back pattern now, let's get this. So on a very fresh pattern also, you're going to be marking out your guideline like we did for the front. We'll go ahead now to impute our shoulder, half shoulder measurement. And then my shoulder slope is 1 inch. I'll go ahead and connect it. I hope you remember where we are taking the shoulder slope from, the point we are taking it from. I'll go ahead and connect it. Then I'm going to impute my armhole measurement like so. And then from the point I told you, this one actually is 8 inches. I'm going to impute my measurements for the armhole so I can connect it back to this point. Just same procedure for the front. Now I'm going to have to measure this down. It is 8 inches. We are going to be taking that 8 inches across so that of course we form the chest line for the back. So I haven't done that now. This is what the pattern looks like. The midpoint of my shoulder, I'm going to be marking my vertical measurement. My waistline 15 inches. And of course the hem. I'm using 21 inches or 20. You can do whatever you want. So same procedure we used for the front to get a straight line. But if you feel you know how to get a straight line, you can just use your ruler and square out the line on top of the dotted marks you made, so that you don't go about all this. But this is so you can get an accurate straight line. So the next thing we are going to do now is to impute our round measurement bust for the back. Mine is 7.8 inches. I'm going to be adding half an inch to it, just like we did to the front. My waistline measurement for the back is 6 inches plus 1 inch for the dart that I did not impute, but I'm just going to be assuming is there 7 inches plus half inch, 7.5 inches. My back hip measurement is 8.8 plus 0.5. I think that should be around 9.25 or 9 point something, I don't know. So I imputed it there. Go ahead now and join them together. So from here, we're coming down by 1 inch. And of course here 1.5 inches. We'll go ahead now and connect our new armhole. So for the depth of the back neckline, it's half an inch. Half an inch, and I'll connect it to this point. Basically, that is all for the back. So remember the part where we are curving in so that we can have a curved side seam. I also did that for the back. We'll go ahead now and cut it out. Now to get this collar, we are going to draft the pattern for the collar. To get your collar, your accurate collar, what you're going to do is to join both front and back together at the shoulder. You want to tape this down, then you go ahead with your tape and take the measurement of the neckline of the front and back. So mine is 7.2 inches. I just rounded it up to 8 inches. Now I'm squaring out a straight line on a fresh pattern paper. I used this ruler at any point to just square a line upwards. I labeled center back. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to mark that 8 inches out. Then I'll determine also, I'm going to be marking it all the way upwards. So I'm going up now by 4 inches. Let's say the height 4 inches and the width 8 inches. The height and the width of this rectangle, of this rectangle is, the height is 4 inches, the width is 8 inches. So after doing that now, the next thing you want to do is to mark 1 inch outwards. This 1 inch you're marking outwards stands for where the button or whatever is going to stay. Of course, the collars too will be having a button. So it stands for that button part also that was in the main bodies, the shirt. It should also be in the collar. I came down here by 2 inches. Now I'm going to be marking the midpoint of this part. You just want to kind of give it a curved shape. There's actually no measurement for it. I marked the midpoint so I know where I'm arriving at, okay? Just kind of a curved shape. So now I marked ½ inch like so at this point. And then I'm connecting that ½ inch all the way like so. And then also making a rounded, I'm just trying to get a rounded curve at the center between the lower collar and the upper collar. You know, it's the two-piece collar between the lower one and the upper one, okay? I extended the lower one, and of course the upper collar I went ahead to put it this way. Then we're going ahead to cut out our collar. Now for the sleeve cuff, or what do they call it? The lower part of the sleeve where you have, how do I call it? I don't really know what it's called. The sleeve cuff or whatever. Okay, so I'm marking 3.5 inches from my wrist upwards like so. Then I went ahead to square a line across it. Then on that point at the back, you're marking half of this place. At the back, please, you're marking half of it too, at the back. You're going to use your ruler to join them together. So go ahead to cut it out now. Now when you cut this, you want to put it at this part and join it together. So you're going to be smoothing out this place, okay? That's actually the part of the sleeve we're trying to get, that lower part, okay? So now to draft the sleeve itself, the cowl sleeve, you want to take the measurement of your front armhole and back armhole. Then I placed my basic sleeve on my fabric. Starting from the center towards the front, you're going to be marking that measurement you got from measuring your front armhole on your basic bodice, and you keep it down. You mark it. Same thing you're going to do to the back of it, starting from the center, and you mark it. So you connect it to the armhole. Of course, you connect it to the elbow. Of course, from the elbow is fitted, like from the elbow is your normal sleeve measurement. Then you go ahead to start cutting it out. If you feel like making yours more voluminous, you can make it rounded. Like you can curve it to make it rounded. All right. It mustn't be straight. You can curve it to make it rounded, so the cowl is more prominent or visible. Now for that sleeve curve, that stuff I showed you guys earlier, you're going to be placing the pattern and then you cut. You want to see that I gave allowance on both sides. It is for the button and buttonhole. Then we'll go ahead now to cut the front bodies. You want to mark the space for your button and buttonhole at the center front. I'm using 2.5 inches here and my fabric is on fold. Then we'll go ahead to cut. You want to leave just about ½ inch side seam allowance because you already have so many allowance in this fabric, so do not leave so much, so when you're shaping it you don't get confused. Maximum of 1 inch, please don't do too much. Now heading to the sewing, I added an interface. You have to add an interface if your fabric is very light. You want to fold this in such a way that it will equal to 1 inch by the time it arrives at the accurate center front. I'm done sewing it. Next thing I'm going to do is to put the back and the front together, stitching them on the shoulder and then on the side seam. After doing that, we are going to be sewing the sleeve to the bodies. Starting from the center sleeve, you want to mark where is your front and back. You go ahead and stitch it up all the way like so. So after sewing the sleeve, this is what it looks like. We are going to be attaching that sleeve. Is this sleeve curve? You guys, please, somebody show up in the comment section. What's that stuff called? We're going to be attaching it. So I'm done doing it and this is what it looks like. I have a detailed tutorial where I did that stuff. So if you want to see, just leave the comment in the comment section and I'll drop the link. For the collar, you want to first stitch this up. You know the part where it's going to be upwards, so you have to stitch it up and then the sides and leave that very part open. I'm going to have to show it. I've not pressed it down. I'm going to have to sew it, but I've not given it a nice press. I just want to show you guys. Then we are going to be attaching the second piece of the collar. I'll be the first piece. You guys, which one is first and which one is second? So we'll go ahead now and put this here like so. And also the other side. Can you see I'm aligning my center back notches? This is what the collar looks like. Then we'll go ahead and join the collar to the shirt like so. You want to join this part first, and when you're done joining it on both sides, you will bring in this part and fold it inwards so you have that neat finish like so.